portraits. They're portraits of a redheaded woman that are actually painted by this artist, Amadeus Modigliani. And the movie is about basically portraits of these two different redheaded women. I'm not actually playing one of those two women, but my sister is and Kelly. And basically we wanted to, like, there's a lot in the movie about, like, who you are and, like, being in the frame or in the mirror, like, who you are in life versus who you really are kind of thing. Yes, exactly. And so basically one of the things we want to do is do a vignette and, like, recreate this portrait, because they're two that look almost identical, like the two redheaded women that he painted, but they're slightly different, and it's done by the same artist in, like, the 1800s or something. So we're going to try to recreate them. And then there's, like, an interesting component where the artist said, when I know your soul, I'll paint your eyes. And their eyes are, like, sort of black. So we're hoping that John can, like, use shadow to, either in post, like, combine, somehow, right. Really make these eyes, like, dark. But it'll be, like, moving. I imagine it's sort of like a GIF or a vignette where, like, instead of them just being frozen like a photo shoot, they'll, like, live in the position and then land in the pose that's in the painting, and we'll, like, move the camera.
It's a very specific thing, and that's good for, especially for pitch decks, but also to, it sounds sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Cool. And that you said you were doing that next month?
Yeah, next month. We didn't really, like, put together crew except John, so I'm gonna need your help.
Yeah, I'm always down to help for sure. Yeah, I went to that Rough Cuts thing, so much fun.
Dude, I want to go next time.
Yeah, I'll be going. I have this little thing I want to show too, so yeah, I'm definitely down with that. But that's exciting. You're getting the feature film together and making moves on it. That's what. So yeah, I want to really like I said, I think this is finally. There's been something bugging me about this feature script.
Yeah.
And I think this is it. I think this is really the thing, because, like, I like the heart of stories as well, and relationship, that sort of thing.
I think that's great. I think it's so important to not be like, finally I'm done, and to, like, actually sit with,
sit with it. But I don't know. You're not finished with the script, and you're already signing other people's names on and getting Jonathan to do stuff. And for some reason, I feel like I have to finish the script before I do that. But
I learned that from Michael, because when he signed me on, I was like, what? He doesn't even have the script done? He finished the script for Tino in June, and we were working on it since January.
Wow.
Like, all the pre-stuff. Yeah. So
that's where I want to be, because when festival season rolls around in October, I want to be prepared and, like, have the EPK and have a pitch deck and have the pictures and everything that showed the tone and the story. I want to have all that ready, so if I have the opportunity to show somebody, even just, like, on my phone, like, this is what we want it to look like. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if this advice will help you, but I also learned this from Michael. When John was up just in Philly, he literally was like, I'm going to dress up like the character, and we're just going to walk around Philly, and we'll find cool spots. And it kind of became like a fun art project, because it was kind of like, oh, this weird corner looks cool. Let's see what we can do with the light here. Not even, like, bringing equipment. It was just John and a camera.
Right.
Playing around, and that's how we got so much good stuff for the original version of the pitch and for the campaign to raise money and all that stuff.
Wow, that's because I was thinking, like, we have to plan a date and, like, find a studio or something to rig everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could just do it naturally, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, like, start with that, and then from there you can always. I'm hoping this time, and I'm sure you're probably thinking this way too, because I feel like now we're, like, on the same page where we've made something and we want to think more strategically the next time. So now I'm thinking, like, I want to build out, like, an actual following, or, like, people who are paying attention to how the movie is unfolding while we're making it, so that it already has an audience when it's ready to come out.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you have reason to already be a fan too, you know what I mean? You already have projects that are out there and people like your stuff. And yeah, that's kind of the goal, right?
And you too. That's what I'm thinking. Like, then you kind of, like, instead of it being about this movie alone, maybe, like, a production company page that, hey, look at this thing I did, fun facts behind the scenes. Oh, look, this is another movie that's come up, filter it in with a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Well, that's a great place to jump in, I think.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Articulate with Steve McJones and Kaitlyn.
Hello.
Kaitlyn Diehl.
What's
She's
up,
back.
guys? I'm back.
Last time we talked about the Myers-Briggs
we're pivoting now.
That's actually a good episode. A lot of people like that episode.
Really?
Yeah, got a lot of listens.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. But today we're here to talk about film, which we were just talking about, and film festivals, because So I actually had Maxwell Collins DP on. I like saying his whole Instagram handle.
He has a really nice name.
Yeah. Maxwell Collins DP.
Yes.
And there was a part where we brought up film festivals. I'm like, dude, I could do a whole other episode about that.
Yeah.
Because, so basically, when you make a movie, you're like, all right, how am I going to make this, right? And you're like, what is the story going to be? You're just starting from square one.
Yeah.
And then, so this is how it went for me, right? It was made the movie, film it. Well, okay, write it, pre-production, filming, and then editing, right?
Yeah.
And each one of those, I was like, okay, this is going to be a whole thing, but then we'll film it, and then that'll be done, and then I'll edit it, and then we'll have the premiere, and that'll be done, and that'll be the end of it. And then you get to the end of the editing, and you have the premiere, and you're like, this is the best! And then you're like, oh, we still got to do a whole other thing. We got to get it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why we make movies. I feel like a lot of people forget that part. I've known so many people who are like, okay, I got to the finish line. And now, oh crap.
It's not the finish line.
It's not at all.
Yeah, you gotta market it, and well, and I mean, you don't have to do film festivals.
Yeah.
What I've learned and what research says, and it's a tool. Film festivals are a tool. They're it's kind of like going to film school in a sense, where if you aren't a social person and aren't using the resources that you have, then it's going to be kind of maybe not the best avenue to get a career going, right?
Yeah.
So if you're just going to film festivals and just watching your movie and then kind of ducking out or whatever, it's not
very useful.
Yeah, not very useful.
I think that's true, especially it depends on the level of film festival that you're at, but if you're not at the top tier festivals, it's all, networking. It's who you're meeting. And even at those levels, it's networking. That's the game.
That is the game. And it's so funny because nobody has any idea about film festival. I don't know. I never heard anybody talk about film festivals or running or the strategy until we found like a Reddit post about it in depth,
Deep dive.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So for people that aren't aware, there's like the categories. How would you categorize? Was it like 3 or 4 categories?
You'll have to help me out with that specific Reddit post, but I would say there's at least 3 categories. Sorry, Steve.
That's okay. It's not directly about that. Yeah. But in general, 3.
But yeah, right? I would say there's about 3 categories because you've got your top tier festivals, right? We're thinking of like Cannes, Sundance, like Tribeca,
Toronto. TIFF, is that what it? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes South by Southwest.
South by Southwest.
Yeah.
But these are the big ones that like you hear. I don't know, big famous movies that come from go there and start there and then usually get I'm curious. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them have a distributor wall, like just for the movie to be made, right?
Yeah. This is such an interesting topic to me right now because this is literally where I'm at with having these conversations with people and stuff. So what I've learned recently is sometimes they go hand in hand and sometimes they're separate. I will not say the name because I'm not sure if I'm able to yet, but I had a meeting with somebody recently who sort of is, I don't know what you would call her, but she is in the distribution kind of market, and she'll rep you as a distributor, like helping you find distribution, I guess I should say. So she's sort of like the middleman. And it was interesting because she told me that her job, trying to connect people to distributors, is completely separate from what they call lobbyists for film festivals. And I didn't even know that was a separate category.
I didn't know what's lobbyist? What is her job? Is that not the same as an agent or a producer?
No, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, break it down for us.
Yeah, okay. All right, great. Let's go.
No, I'm actually excited. I want to know.
It was so fascinating to me. So this woman that I met, she did work for Sundance at one point and helped people kind of understand the market and what you have to do as a filmmaker to actually get your work out there. So she has a background in it and kind of has turned into a person who helps filmmakers understand, and I guess you maybe would refer to her, I wouldn't call her an agent, but it's that sort of role. I guess you can think of it like that. Somebody who like has the connections, who can help market your film and connect you to people who would potentially distribute it.
Okay.
So that was interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then when I talked to this woman about, okay, what about getting into festivals? She said, that's a separate job. There are people out there who specifically pitch films on your behalf
Right.
to festivals, which she called lobbyists. So that was
Lobbyists. That makes sense to get into
Yeah.
those bigger film fests. That's what. So yeah, some people when they make a short film, they're like, "Oh, we have a chance. You know, we could get into
Yeah.
Sundance." It's like, bro, you gotta have a lobbyist.
Yeah.
You gotta have somebody on your side that can talk to the people and knows somebody on the inside to get
Yeah.
you in there.
Can I share a story?
Sure.
Okay. Speaking of this, once again, not using names, I apologize. But there was a guy
We
I
can also
met.
bleep everything. But
Yeah.
again, I don't know
Half
any
of
of
it
these
is
people.
because I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But anyways, long story short, in this actors networking group that I'm involved in, we had a guest. And said guest did win at, I think it was Sundance, but it was one of these big top festivals, the top tier that we were just talking about. And the first year he submitted, could not get into this festival. Like, nobody would look at his film whatsoever. But he really felt like he had a good product.
Right.
So I think it was the second time around, but either way, he was like, okay, I'm going to submit. I do not advise this, and neither did he, but this is what he did to show you how crazy it is. So he looked and saw who won the previous year, who the director was, and then he literally pretended to be that, like, somebody who knew that director and emailed and said, such and such director really liked this film, you should check it out.
Oh, wow.
Or either way, he pretended to have an association with this guy who he had never met in his life, and that's how he actually got them to watch his movie. And then his movie got in, and then his movie won.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, dude. Crazy.
You got to fake it till you make it. That's what the real story
That's
is
what I'm
there.
saying. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of times, I mean, especially within an industry like film, there's a lot of other scummier things that are going on.
Yeah.
If the worst thing you do is pretend to be somebody to get your film into a film festival, I mean, and then it wins. It was that means it was supposed to be. Yeah, it was good. It's not like you were just rallying for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is what we should be doing, then.
I guess so. Start making those fake emails.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I saw that could help you get. I mean, even on smaller. So there's like the first tier, the big ones, and then there's second tier, which I would say, would you consider like the PFS one? I feel like that's probably second tier, right?
I would say so.
Because it's a big city.
Yeah.
I feel like M. Night Shyamalan and like Ryan Coogler or whatever, I've seen them go there the past couple of years or something.
Yeah.
But they're regionally big, but they're not like international fame level.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say the Garden State Film Festival, I've learned recently that one is at that level. Yeah, I would say like a lot of indies that maybe at the beginning people aren't paying as much attention to them, but they're really well produced. They have really good connections. Will spawn out of there. And then maybe the next year that same director would end up at the top level.
The next, bigger film festivals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird because for sure at the top film festivals there are going to be distributors there. There are going to be producers. There are going to be people. Like you'll probably walk out there with a deal. Even if I don't know. Although I have heard some people's short films are different.
Yeah, it's
beast, but like short films that get into big festivals and then people that walk out with nothing still,
Yeah, it's
that would
crazy.
be a shame. That would stink.
I know.
You got into Sundance with your short film and then walked away just like
in
the same position.
And you know what?
I feel like again that's kind of on you if you don't take advantage of it.
Maybe they didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Like maybe they just were like, oh, there's my film.
Yeah.
Go sit in a corner.
Exactly. Yeah, get it together.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
But some advice I got actually at a film festival, I went to one of the workshops, and it was a filmmaker there who, a little bit, probably in the mid-tier level. Anyway, he said his biggest mistake when he had his first festival circuit run was that he didn't have another script ready.
Oh.
Because people were like, this is great. What are you doing next?
Yeah.
And he was like, I have all these people asking me who like what I did, who want to do something with me, and I don't have anything.
Right.
So...
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of, again, using film festivals as a tool, you have to establish a goal of what you want to get out of your film festival run to make sure that you even need to do it, right? Like, if your goal is to have your first short film go viral or something, you don't need to, you know what I mean? You don't need to go through film festivals. You could just upload it online and hope that it goes viral and, like, talk to your influencer friends to shoot it off or whatever. And then same with like if you're also, I mean, if you are trying to get a distribution deal, you talk to a distributor. You don't go. You don't even have to go to a film festival anymore.
That's true. There's so many avenues. Tubi.
Right, Tubi. Yeah, so I would say like for No Thoughts at least.
Yeah.
My goals would be. I have like 4 kind of goals with it. Right, is like 1, I want to meet just a mentor. I would love to meet somebody that's in the industry and can like show me the way. You know what I mean? But that's like. That's a big ask, I would say.
You've got like Gandhi who comes down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, Ryan
Gandhi.
Coogler like gives his hand to me and was like, "Yes, please."
Yeah,
something like that would be cool. Or but so then also, or just meet somebody who knows their shit, like is experienced and can influence your path a little bit. Like that would be great. But kind of more like film-based goals would be. So we have a short film, No Thoughts. If we could get a distribution for that, right? Like on Netflix or Tubi, they do have short films, even if, not a lot of people watch them.
Yeah.
You can still get paid to get your short film on Netflix. You know what I mean? It's a nominal fee, but it's something.
Yeah.
And it's exposure. And you can tell your friends and family that you're on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
or
great.
even YouTube. I realize there's channels that are dedicated to sharing short films. Have you seen those?
I have not, but the Big Apple Film Festival we submitted to in New York, and they said we were in the top 25%, but we didn't get in. I was like, okay.
Okay, that's pretty good though.
Right? That's what I was excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I saw somebody else say they got a message that they said they were in the top 50%.
So they were honest.
Yeah, so it was honest. It was like, oh, okay, so they actually, we made it to at least. And then they reached out to us later and like, hey, even though you didn't get in, we do have this YouTube channel where we upload shorts and it's a distribution deal. We could pay you for that.
Wow.
So, that's cool. We already got like kind of a small offer. We're probably going to wait just because something that most people also don't know about film festivals is that, you can't, for a lot of them, you can't have it out on the public, like in the public space yet, whether it be YouTube or Vimeo? Is that the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if it's online, why would you pay for it at a festival?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So distribution deal just for the short, but you can also get a deal to expand that short into a feature film.
Yeah.
Which would be also really cool. I mean, there's a lot of ideas we didn't explore on that.
Exactly. And actually I learned that on a set, and I can actually use names here because I remember them. When I was on set for a project that I was acting in this past January, the DP was a guy named Wes, and he had directed and written this movie called Stalked, which I actually had known about. I didn't realize like who he was when I met him on the set, right? But I knew about this movie. I had seen it. I was like, oh, this is like a bigger indie project in the area.
Yeah.
And so when I was on set, I was like, oh, I'd be really interested just understand a little bit more about how he got this movie funded, all those different things. And what he shared with me is exactly what you're talking about. He had a short film that had blown up, had actually kind of gone viral on YouTube. And because of that, he was able to pitch the bigger concept and actually get funding for this feature film. Yeah. So
yeah. That's one way to
happens.
do it. Yeah, and he went through YouTube, so I don't know if he went through if he did film festivals or not with the short at all.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that's just one way to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then the other object of those are the kind of the first two, and then the other two would be, okay, so if they don't want to make a feature or I can't get distribution rights for No Thoughts, then still having this next project.
Yeah.
And getting that funded or produced in some way, basically.
Yeah. Your next project.
Yeah, the next project.
Yeah.
Right, the next feature film. Right. Like,
yeah.
I think those are good, solid goals for me. But those, and again, you can do so many things with film festivals. Like, you could even just be looking to build a fan base. You know what I mean? And meet and network people, even if your film isn't even that good. You know what I mean?
Literally.
You do have to be realistic about your film. You got to hope. Yeah. You got to know where you're at, I would say.
No, that's definitely true. And you want to be careful about the ones you submit to because, we submitted ours to, I had no idea what value my film had, right? The first one I put out. So I was like, I don't know. I didn't have like expectations, right? So I'm just submitting and showing up to these ones and, some of them are a little rough.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes it's like, oh, that got into this festival. And mine's next to it? What does that have to... say about my film. But then you go to other ones and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe my film's next to this film.
Right,
like,
right.
It's
so,
crazy.
it's really, so that's another thing so we're talking about like definitely third tier or fourth tier phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize when you first get into it, you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Let's just start with the application process,
Sure.
right? Film Freeway is a website that you need to know. Did not know this before getting into this. Film Freeway is basically, it's kind of like how would you describe Film Freeway?
It's weird because it's just like a simple website where you have a subscription. What does it remind you of?
It's kind of like a server. It's like YouTube, but because you build out a page for your project.
Yeah.
And that would be the actual film. You upload the film file there, but then you can connect a trailer, posters, stills, and then it also asks for a director's statement and a bio, I think. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of cool in that way. But then from there, so once you build out your project in that little tab that they have, then you can go search. It's basically a database for all film festivals, and not every film festival. I think South by Southwest doesn't use
I didn't know
Film
that.
Freeway.
You're right. Some of them aren't on there.
Yeah, some of them aren't on there, but for the most part, it's like a big hub so you build out your page and then you can go and just submit it directly through that. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, it's like you said, it's a really simple concept, and I think it's beautiful. And so, you can search film festivals in your area or the bigger ones, or and then it'll basically break down the film festival, how long it's been going on for. It'll show you photos from the film festivals. It'll show you when the deadlines are, and then reviews, I think, is the other part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you want to talk about things to look out for when you're trying.
Yeah, so there's scam fests.
Yeah, scam fests.
Watch out for the scam fests.
Exactly.
We got scammed. Did you get scammed?
I almost did.
Okay. Because, once you sign up for Film Free, they start sending you emails, and they're like, hey, you should apply your short film.
Yeah, they do.
And you're like, well, you'll get 50% off. And we're like, oh, 50% off? Hell yeah. And you just want all the exposure you can get. So you're like, let's submit to this. And then it's a fake film festival in Los Angeles that you're never...
Exactly. Yeah. The online festival's pointless, in my opinion, for the most part.
True.
And also...
Well, it takes money.
Yeah.
We forgot about this part. It does take money to submit your film to a film festival, so that's how they scam you.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not a real film festival.
Yeah. It's expensive. It adds up. And so you want to prioritize, based on your funds, what you actually submit to. So I feel like one of the biggest tells of it being a scam festival is that it has 30 plus categories, like movie with a horror female lead, movies that have clowns, like it's like
short narrative comedy, short narrative drama, short narrative, and
then everyone's a winner, and it's like, but what are you even winning? Mm-hmm. Nothing, because it's a scam.
Because it's a scam.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you want to be selective with the real ones that you're applying to, let alone the scam ones.
Yeah, exactly. Choose wisely.
Yeah, choose wisely. So there are a lot of red flags that you can look for, like multiple categories. And if they want you to submit it to multiple categories, it's like, oh, it's only $25. Oh, but then there's another category that maybe we submitted to and we can get it in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just...
You have to pay every time. It's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. These are the red flags. By choosing chain festivals, like online ones that you said, if they have no like panels or events or parties planned or anything like that, that's a big red flag, because again, if you're going to these things, you're mostly going to network. Like especially if you're not in the top 2 levels, which is most of us at this level are not going to be, then you're literally just going to meet other filmmakers and potentially, and get exposure and build fans. And there's a lot of good reasons to do it.
Totally.
But if it's just a one-night thing and they don't have a networking opportunity or an after party or a panel or anything, then what's the point of going?
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree. And I would say from maybe the 10 or so, 12 festivals that we went to with our last film, it was the networking that really built out our experience. It was I actually underestimated how many really interesting and valuable people you could meet by attending those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that? Yeah. So tell us about your run.
Yeah. So like I said, when we started, we didn't know what to expect. So what I would say, advice for the future, is to make sure you're starting top down, submitting to the best festivals first.
That's true, because premieres.
Yeah,
Right.
they matter. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's to your benefit for distributors, for getting into other festivals, etc., to have your premiere at the best possible festival that you can get into. So
Because if you premiere, there's a lot of premiere requirements
Yeah.
for film festivals. Fortunately, with Philadelphia or in any state, they usually just ask for a statewide premiere.
exactly.
But if you're looking at New York, there's 2 or 3 big festivals in New York.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you get into the biggest one. So if you premiere at a smaller local like Brooklyn Film Festival in August, because they have kind of a semi-annual, I would say there's some that happen in spring and then some happen in fall.
Oh, okay.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Is that now?
You
yeah.
mean at Brooklyn or
I just
in
mean
general?
film
Oh,
in general, there's usually like a spring festival lineup, and then there's an October. Like PFS has a smaller festival in the spring too. But yeah, so if you premiere in the spring with a smaller festival, and then the Toronto or because I think Big Apple is in the
Yeah.
spring. So if you premiere there, which is it's still a good, like that's a good, if you were able to get into that, awesome.
Mhm.
But if you are really hoping to take your short or your feature to the highest level, you don't want to premiere it there, because then you can't get into
Exactly.
Toronto. Yeah.
And even world premieres, which I
Right.
didn't realize, like that includes everywhere.
Right.
So you really have to, at least for that first festival, take that into consideration.
For sure. Yeah, you just don't want to blow your premiere
Yeah.
on a little thing, which we kind of did.
Yeah, so did we. So we learned.
Yeah, you learn. And
Exactly.
fortunately, like the Philly one that we really want to get into, the Philadelphia Film Festival,
Yeah.
if it's a local short, they're better with it, and if it's a short film, you don't have to have a premiere.
Oh, good.
It doesn't have to be the premiere.
Exactly. You're
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because right now we're in the middle of trying to figure out where to submit Tino, the feature that I just produced. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And that was one of the questions that came up. Like, we were thinking about submitting to the Philadelphia Film Festival, but then we realized, like, specifically for features, it has to be the regional premiere, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's the first time I really encountered that, because I feel like you don't see that as often with shorts, even though it does still matter.
Right.
So
Yeah. It definitely still again. So I mean, another lesson from this: read the rules. Like, read the page.
yes.
So Film Freeway, like I said, has that page of all the information about the film festival, and then it'll usually have the rules there. And the premiere is usually the biggest one that you want to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But I think even Toronto, I think theirs was you have to have like subtitles, or you have to have ADA,
Yeah,
something,
that's so true.
captions or something like that.
You're right. Different formats.
hmm
Sometimes they don't just want it in a video format. They want it like very specific. Yeah. So all these things. That's true. But yeah, so for our run, we ended up getting into, I think it was 12 festivals, which was 50%
awesome.
that we submitted to. So I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
One that I feel like was a highlight for me was Blackbird Film Festival.
Okay.
It was in
Phoenixville?
SUNY, New
Oh, no.
York,
Oh.
upstate New York,
Okay.
Cortland. Yeah. Phoenixville was great too, though.
Yeah.
But Blackbird was great in a few different ways. First of all, they had a ton of workshops, like you were talking about, that were free to filmmakers, really interesting, and not just workshops that were educational, but also encouraging interaction. Like, they had a paint and chat with fellow filmmakers kind of night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just fun.
Yeah, just fun.
Yeah.
And get talking to people.
Right.
And the other thing was that the quality of the films that were accepted was so high. I would call this maybe low mid-tier or somewhere in the mid-tier. I'm not exactly sure. But I was just really impressed at the caliber of film. And then the other thing that this was my first time realizing how important the networking could be, because, like, first of all, I ended up talking to someone who came up to me because he liked my film. And really nice guy. We just got chatting, etc. And then we were like, okay, let's exchange contact information, whatever. Well, it turns out he was a casting director who had a hand in casting, co-star roles for Severance. So,
Whoa.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't plan those things, but he had a film. He made a short film because we're in a creative industry, right? He's got other things going on.
Yeah.
And his film was in the festival.
Yeah,
So
that's
suddenly
awesome.
now we're just fellow filmmakers, right?
Yeah, and you had no idea.
No, exactly. And it wasn't about a weird, like, ooh,
I want to talk to this guy so that he can, get me on here. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
It was just a natural thing.
Yeah.
That happened.
And
Yeah.
that's like the most amazing part, that you can
That you
have
could just
those
run into
chances.
anybody, especially
Yeah.
the New York ones. I wish we applied to more New York ones, but it's also a very Philadelphia-based film that we have, and
That's true.
whatever.
It's like a love letter to Philly.
To Philly, basically. Yeah. But how long has that one been going on for? Do you know?
The one that's going around right
Blackbird.
now, Willow. Oh, Blackbird.
Yeah.
They run in April, so I think they only do.
I just
once a
meant like
year.
how long. So like another thing that you have to look for in film festivals, I think that helps, is how long the festival has been running.
Oh, like how many years?
Yeah, so like
good
the bigger
question.
ones have been going on for 20, 60 years. I don't know, since the film industry was.
Yeah.
We're in 2025. It's like it's probably been going on for at least 60 years.
Yeah.
70 years.
No, you're right.
So some of those bigger ones, the longer they're established. Also, like
Yeah.
even if something's been running like 5 years, then like the first year for a festival, even if it looks like a good festival and they have a good lineup,
Yeah.
there's gonna be some technical stuff that they got to figure out right in the
Totally.
moment if they don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you're right. That one I believe was like at least 10 years or so.
okay, nice.
And one thing I'll say that made me really like that festival, and maybe is a good way to kind of a metric to use,
Mhm.
they had on their website very detailed information about the judging process. And it said we have 3 layers. First, this layer of people is going to judge it. And then, they explained the system, the rating system. Then it'll go on to the next set of judges.
Right.
And they said that we guarantee that your movie will be watched
Right.
by somebody in full, which isn't always the case.
Yeah, it's not.
So-
So the Reddit post that I keep referring to is done by the Wyoming Film Festival. Shout out. There was a lot of work, and we read it all front to top. It was back to front to back. It was great. It was really good stuff.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things they said is it isn't always a given that your film, when you submit it, is watched
Yeah.
all the way through.
And you paid.
And you paid. Yeah, it's because
Yeah.
I mean, I understand their point where it's like,
Yeah.
if you're 10 minutes through a 25-minute short film where the audio sounds really terrible and it looks like it was shot,
You're right.
blown out lights and just bad. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to watch the rest of this.
Time?
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of sad. It's unfortunate, because a lot of people, you put a lot of work into that, and I'm sorry. Yeah.
You gotta learn to improve somehow.
Yeah, improve somehow. It would be nice if they told you. They're like, yeah, we didn't make it
would.
even 5 minutes into your film.
Get
Do
better
better.
audio. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, if they gave some sort of feedback, but they don't have
that's true.
time, I guess. Well, they should. We paid them. I don't know.
Yeah, right? Like
Yeah.
hire, I don't know. It would be nice. It would be helpful.
But it is funny to try to get mad at the concept of film festivals.
Yeah, because it feels like, this is life, I feel like. There's always levels in gatekeeping. So it's annoying when you're
Well,
new.
rejection is hard to
but-
deal with, especially like art projects, and I put a lot of my personal love and time
Yeah.
into this movie, and getting rejected from 50% or more of the
Yeah.
festivals that you submit to doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
So it's okay to get a little salty sometimes, I think, if you don't get into the ones that you want.
Yeah.
But you gotta have realistic expectations, knowing if it's a good movie or not.
Yeah.
Making sure that you check all the at least production boxes where you have good sound, you have good
Yeah.
lighting, you have decent acting, that sort of thing.
Decent acting. That's something else that just on a little side note,
Mm.
the amount of festivals where I felt like the weakest part was the acting. And I know a lot of filmmakers who come in it from the filmmaking angle rather than the acting angle. Like we kind of started in that direction more. I think can kind of get lost in the sauce with like, ooh, my beautiful cinematography and my beautiful shot.
Right.
And then they have a terrible actor. And it makes me so mad on their behalf because I'm like, dude, your movie looks bomb, but this guy sucks. And he's ruining it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just
No.
a little side note.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's one of those
Hard to make
things
a
that
movie.
it's there's so many things that, again, it's like bad audio will
Yeah.
ruin a movie. Bad acting will ruin a movie.
Yeah.
You can get away with a lot of things, especially even with bad acting.
Yeah.
I think you could even work around that if you know how.
Yeah.
And they're not the main character and there's not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes editing can save bad acting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that Keanu Reeves is a bad actor as a whole.
Ooh,
Of
don't
course,
tell
he's got.
someone.
Yeah, I know. He might be. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Yeah.
he might be a great actor.
Oh, okay.
But there are some roles where he's not
Yeah.
the best, and it's noticeable.
Yeah.
But they work around. Like even John Wick, he has what 3 lines in all
Yeah.
of those movies or something like that. It's like those are great movies. I love those movies. But you can edit around it. You could work around it. Don't give him that much dialogue. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
You could build everything. You can make it look good, sound good.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Oh man, I'm thinking back now to all these different things and just being like, another issue that I've seen at festivals is like really good looking foreign films that were shot well, but you couldn't read the damn subtitles because they put the screen too low, so there's a bunch of heads in the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually think that's why we ended up winning in our category, because nobody could understand the competitors' films.
That's a competitive advantage.
It sure is.
That's great. Yeah, so what we got? Maximizing opportunity. Festivals are a tool. Red flags. Green flags to look for. Parties, panels, solid venue.
Yep, solid venue.
Solid venue is super important. They have a lot of press, pictures. That's what I mean. You know what me and Kusan looked at is the pictures mostly, and pictures
Yeah.
can be faked. You know, you just get a decent background like this.
Yeah.
This is a good example. This is a great example, actually.
Yeah, you can't see over
Can't see the
here.
washer and dryer.
Looks great here.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, I think that's exactly it. Like research who's won before, even looking at movie posters from past,
Just the posters,
seasons.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Just
can
putting in the
tell.
bare minimum can help so much. Like
Yeah.
read the page out.
Yeah, and don't always listen to the reviews, because one thing I realized too is
they're
they
all 5
always
stars.
exactly they're all 5
Always.
stars because they always email you after the festival and want you to review it, and then
Yeah.
of course your name's attached, so you're not going to be like, this sucked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was not a great one that we went to recently that I
Really?
will not mention. But it's like, no, I'm not gonna rate. But I'm also not
Yeah.
gonna go out and bash them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm just not gonna go and do it. Which is
Yeah.
unfortunate because it'd be nice if somebody took the bullet for us.
Yeah,
that are
we
doing
need to
our
know.
research.
Exactly. So you can't go by the stars, but yeah.
Yeah. So another thing to take into account: submission deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, kind of again, working around premieres first of all, but like also if there's a festival that's the event is the same day as another festival. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you wanna
That
make
happened to
sure-
me too. We got into one that was in North PA and the same weekend as Blackbird.
Mm.
And it was a good one too. They had a really good speaker. He worked on Apocalypse Now, like whatever.
Wow.
So we were like, oh damn. So we went to one Friday night. I think we missed our screening of our film because it was actually playing Saturday at both festivals. So it was kind of a shame, but
Yeah.
at least I got to go to both.
Yeah, at least you got to go to both, and that's one thing. It might be a given for some people, but attend if you can.
Yeah.
Like attend the film. You're applying to them. You paid money to get into them. Sure, it's cool if your film just gets picked and if it's a random one that you can't show up to.
Yeah.
But like again, the part of these is to use the festival as a tool.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna attend, then what was the point of like? The one that we went to, there was not a lot of people showed up.
Oh,
And so we're just watching movies that nobody knows, nobody cares about.
damn.
Even if they were good, it's like, what are we gonna talk to the? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like 5 people in there. I've been in those too.
yeah, it's just not
Yeah.
great. So attend
Definitely
for the sake of
attend.
attendance.
And then the other thing that I noticed, maybe you've noticed this too, is like then you'll run into the same people who are on the same cycle, like doing their festival run.
Mhm.
Because we saw this filmmaker, they won for SPIC was the name of their film at Blackbird, and they won the Audience Choice Award. Then we went to the Phoenixville Film Festival, so not even near each other, just on the East Coast.
Mhm.
He was there again, and this
Oh.
time he came up to us. He's like, "Hey, it's the Willow people again," you
Yeah.
know. So that was pretty cool. And we talked to him. Of course, he won again because his movie was really good. But
Yeah.
yeah, he deserved it. But it was amazing. And then this is just a side note. Literally, like 2 weeks ago, I found out that his wife. He wrote the movie. His wife directed it. His wife is one of the top acting teachers in New York City.
Oh shit.
I didn't even know that. She was right there. I think I said hi to her. So you really don't know who you're talking to. So
Yeah.
you just gotta show up.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
show up, make these connections, and it can lead to something. It really can. And again, you got to temper your expectations.
Yeah.
And the way that you did it, I think, is the best. Where you don't know,
Yeah.
because then you meet them as a human being. You don't. There's
Yeah.
not a goal in the relationship right off the bat.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just talk like you.
I totally agree. Like, there's no need to get weird. And plus, I think
I get a little weird.
Yeah.
You gotta show off a little bit.
Weird enough to be interesting.
Interesting is more so the word that we should be using, right?
Yeah. You don't want to be like, hi, normal Squidward or something.
Yeah.
but yeah, like I think it's just really important because that's what I realized too, is like everybody in this industry is just creative in so many ways. So even if somebody is an acting teacher or is a casting director, they also, like, we're actors and now we're making films. Like, people are all finding ways to be creative. So it's just really cool to connect in that way that's like you said, human to human rather than like tiered the way you can feel in this
For
world.
sure. Yeah, and the fact that it's not a given that we're actors. Like, so I've met some filmmakers like, oh, you an actor? And I was like, really? I thought actors was a saturated market. But some filmmakers don't have good actors. And when they meet an actor,
that's
it's like,
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody who didn't have an acting background met this acting coach, the number one acting coach in New York, would they care? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's true. And you don't know who, like, saw you who has a new film in mind and is like, hey, that chick or that dude looks exactly like what I want for my next project. Actually, somebody did give me a script that I met at a film festival, and he wanted me to play a character in his film. It didn't end up working out, but he just watched my movie and was like, hey. But once again, it's because we just chatted. They had like a bar night after the event, and we just became friends, and he was hilarious, and I was like, that's it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's really all. Yeah, I would say this kind of goes back to a conversation that Kusan and I had, where it was basically like, at our level, I feel like even if you just want to act, if you aren't a Nepo baby or don't know a bunch of rich people that can help you get things funded, you kind of have to be a producer as well. Like, you have to really know the industry because you're starting from the ground floor not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
And you need to make a quality product, and you need to know how to get that product out there and know the ins and the outs.
Yeah.
How to get that product out there.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to keep that in mind, because you might pigeonhole yourself into one skill, which is great because you can grow that skill and you can get really good and do that. Get a foundation,
Yeah.
That's what we went to acting school for, a couple, months to years, basically.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Yeah, now that you have that down, okay, what are you sending in self-tapes? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to keep sending in self-tapes and hoping that you get a role, even though nobody's ever met you, you haven't been in anything, been in student projects or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way to do it, for sure, but it's going to be a lot easier if you start to just get on other film sets, talk to more filmmakers, learn how a film gets made, learn how you can insert yourself and help other people in other ways than just being an actor. You know?
And it's really empowering.
Yeah.
Because I noticed too, like, it's one thing to keep auditioning over and over and over again, but then it's also like half the time the script isn't even good.
Right.
Or it's not something you connect with, It could be a good script and it might not just be something for you.
For sure.
So it's like, you got to write a Philly story inspired by a movie you really like. Like, you're putting you into it, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel, too. I realize, like, we get into, at least for me, get into acting because I love being in these imaginary worlds. But, like, I'm imagining all these worlds in my head that I want to act in. So I have to bring them to life, unless I get lucky and somebody already created that world,
Yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of yours, because you push, you're ambitious,
Thanks.
You know what I mean? I don't think, like I said, a lot of people pigeonhole themselves in one direction or another.
Yeah.
And I think you're just open to, like, really, like, getting what you act for birthday parties.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's
As
true.
princesses.
If you need a princess, I'll put a wig on. Or I can play Ariel.
Yeah, right. I don't even need the wig. For Ariel. Yeah.
Maybe contacts.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, but you're actively trying to find agents and producing other films, and now you're writing this feature. You know what I mean? Like, I really respect that about you, and, like, one of the reasons, of course, I like you as a person, but you hear that you are the sum of, like, the 7 people that you spend the most time with or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that is on any level, any amount of people, or spending your time with somebody, you're going to rub off on each other.
Yeah, 100%.
And
I mean, even same with you, Steve, because Steve was in our class, like, I mean, I don't know how long he was there, but I feel like 1 month in, he was
Not
already
long.
friends with all of us. And
Not
I feel
long.
like that's a testament to you being an authentic person. It didn't feel like you, like, forced your way and you're just like, I'm being myself and I do this and I do that. I
Yeah.
do comedy, and so now we're here. You're a filmmaker and a podcast
At a
host.
podcast host. Yeah, I
It's pretty
I
cool.
did work to get into that group because y'all were a very tight knit, close group of people.
Accidentally intimidating, but
Yeah, a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's important. I mean, you got to be close with people, and
Yeah.
I think I do want to say this. Weirdly, I think you do have to be selective with the people that you work with too. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
important because you can like somebody on a personal level, but if they're not professional, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then, or if they're not driven, you know what I mean? You just like,
Yeah.
it's like, again, I like you as a person, but you're not. Like, I have big goals and dreams,
Yeah.
and I need to do them for myself and my community of people that I'm working with.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to help in even be a positive positive force in my life to help me want to do that, to motivate me, then why would I be friends with you? You know what I mean?
No, I feel
It's
you.
kind of tough.
I want to actually add in, I just finished reading this book called Grit, and it's really fascinating to me because it talked about kind of the science behind success
Mm.
and how, like, a lot of people will attribute it to intelligence, all of the things, SAT scores, grades, blah, blah, blah. But I'll just give this little example from the book that really stuck with me. They did this study of people going to this really intense military school, and they couldn't figure out a correlation between the people who couldn't make it through the program and the people who stuck it out. Because looking at the numbers when they came in, they would rank everyone based on their full package: athleticism, like I said, SAT scores, like all these things to say, okay, this candidate is like an 80, for example. And maybe that 80 would lose and stop the program. He wouldn't make it to the end. And then somebody who ranked like 30 would make it to the end. So what they ended up realizing is they came up with something they called the grit test. And some of the questions on there are like, how often do you change your interests? Have you recently stuck with a project for 3 months or more? Something like that. And I thought it was really interesting because I think a lot of people write off their ability to do things based on what they feel like is their intelligence level or, these boxes we create. But actually, throughout the book, she proved the point that one of, if not the most important factors in all successful people is the ability to just see things through despite failure, and not get off the track.
Right.
Continue on the same track. And it's okay if you add other interests, but you know your goals, you know your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
so
that's
I feel like
so
you're that
true.
way. So
Yeah.
it's pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a complete failure, but I keep doing it for some reason. I just keep doing
We
it.
fail upward, okay?
Yeah, we
Your
fail
movie is going into film
upwards.
festivals.
No, that's fair.
That's all that matters. I fail upwards too, but
Yeah,
we're
right.
still up.
You're still trying, really? You all right? Sure. Okay, cool. Good for you.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Though. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, and that's really interesting. It is. I think that's true. Consistency and discipline is like.
Yeah.
That's one of the things when I'm having my creative doubts. I
Yeah.
think I actually had this thought the other night. It's funny because I have a list of like 5 creative friends from my hometown that I'll call occasionally to talk about
Awesome.
creative stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that probably once a year I'd call him and be like, dude, am I even creative? Did I lose it? Am I just a boring person now?
That alone means you're a creative person. 'Cause I feel like that's all of us.
No, yeah, just
Once a
the
year, at
existential
least.
crisis of once a year is like, what am I
Yeah.
doing? What the?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it the other day, and it was the first. So I think because I had like the acting rolled into the movie, and then that took like a year and a half to get out.
Mm-hmm.
I think during that process, there was never really a doubt. There might have been a doubt. It was like, oh, is this even good or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But there was never a doubt. It was like, am I a creative? And then I was like, I've been in an existential dread for the past 6 months
Yeah.
almost, but especially the last 3. And, with now, I mean, working on a script is creative, but
Yeah.
once I got the foundation done and I'm just like getting notes and everything, it feels very abstract and it doesn't feel like very creatively fulfilling a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like that's the hard part with creativity. It seems like our brains will adjust to one form of it and then want more or something different.
No, I like that. Yeah, adjusting to one form of it, and then you
Yeah.
feel once you're not doing that thing,
Yeah.
then you're not feeling creatively fulfilled or something like that.
Yeah.
But I thought that for the first time yesterday. And I'm like, what if I'm not even creative anymore? And I'm like, wait a minute. I've been here before. You know, I've done this before.
Exactly.
And I made like, I had that thought before I made a movie.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, like, you know,
You're
maybe this
right.
is a pivot, a better pivot to a better thing. You
Yeah,
know?
no, you're right. Like, okay, it's like the tiered thing. Like, oh, we're doing good. We're doing, you know, like life has those flat lines.
Yeah.
But now you know.
Right.
And that's what matters because you can just be like, oh, I'll just goodbye thought. Like, you know, it'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back. And just like, not worry, but keep working, you know?
Yeah.
Or allow yourself some time to breathe and think and then.
Exactly.
You know, it'll kinda come
And
back.
strategize. That was another story I heard recently that was really interesting to me. This guy was like a comic or a cartoonist or whatever.
Okay.
And the dream in the 70s was to get the cartoons into it was a newspaper in New York City, something like that.
New York Times.
Yeah, okay, it might have been that. It
don't
might
know
have
if
been,
that's-
I don't know.
if that's true or
It was
not.
a big New York newspaper.
Right.
But anyways, like he submitted like 2,000 cartoons over some number of years. It was at least 3 or 4 years and didn't get a response. And because he had grit, I'm really shouting out this book, but it inspired me so much.
Sure.
He was like, okay, I'm going to study and find out what I'm doing wrong. So he literally went to the library, because this is the 70s, and looked up all of the cartoons that had gotten accepted over the years to understand what they had. And what he realized is they had a distinct style, which I feel like applies to filmmakers, right? Like finding your style and like what you have to say. So then he went back to the drawing board and actually developed his own unique style, like artistic style. And then, I don't know, he came up with something else, I guess. And anyways, he submitted something to say, but he submitted it and he got accepted.
Wow.
And then from there, he ended up getting more and more accepted over the years until they eventually hired him as a contractor. And he became one of the most successful cartoonists.
Wow.
So it's
Do
like...
you remember what cartoon he did?
No, see, I don't know anybody's names, apparently.
It's okay. Well, you remembered the moral of the story, which was more impactful to you.
That's
Which
true.
is that... Well, what is the moral of that
Well,
story?
I feel like it's the same with film festivals, right?
For sure.
Like, we could submit and be like, nobody cares. But if you're going to give up, what if you were one away? What if his next feature film is the one that's going to get into the next thing? Because now he's going back to the drawing board. Oh, how can I make my filmmaking more distinct? Or like, whatever it is.
Oh, I see what you
know?
mean. So when you get back to that place of what if I'm not even creative anymore, it may be a good opportunity to figure out what you do.
Exactly. Take it, assess it. Like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What have other people done? You know? Like, we can take so much from it. But I think the moral really is, like, don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, don't just blindly keep doing something.
Right,
but
without
analyze
learning.
it.
Yeah, learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, learn and grow in it, for sure. Yeah. But let's kind of bring it back a little bit to film festivals because, well, it was kind of one of the things that we started with. And this is kind of the last beat that I want to hit on these anyways, is the kind of the press or the questions that you may get asked at a film festival. And that's one thing that you said earlier is like, there was a guy that everybody loved his stuff at film festivals, but then like, oh, okay, what are you doing next? And he had nothing prepared.
Yeah.
So oftentimes there's questions that they say, these are kind of general questions that might be good to be prepared to answer just at any given point. Especially when you're doing a film festival run. And the questions are, you know, the first one's going to be like, hey, how's it going? Are you having a good time? And you want to, you know, act like you didn't prepare for this question.
Act natural.
Yeah, act natural and
do
be
some
like,
Meisner.
Yes, I love this. Yeah. Do some Meisner. Repeat it back to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, but you want to, you know, come off casual, like you're having a good time. You don't want to talk shit or complain or whatever, you know. And then it says, tell us about your film. And this is, I mean, it says in the thing that I read not for this to be the log line or the elevator pitch or something like that. But I feel like it could be, you know what I mean? But it's basically just, you know, a 2-minute summary of your film that makes it sound like it's the best movie in the world. You know what I mean? This is like really the chance where you get to geek out about what you're there for and really make people want to see it. You know? So I think that's a good one to have in mind. Tell me about your film. And then the third question is, why did you make this film? These were all things that, so we went to the PFS showcase back in January.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, one of their questions was like, why did you make this film? And for me, it was like thinking about, like, why did I want to get into making movies? And I was like, when I answered the question, it was like, because I went into acting school and then I saw all these actors that were really good. And I'm like, I could put them into stories and use them. So it was more about like the idea of filmmaking. And then all the other people were like, I made this film because it was like my sister that went through the story or something.
Yes.
I'm like, you wanted like the personal reason about this specific,
about
this specific story too, not just like a general answer.
Like, I like my friends and they're good actors.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, Kusan was there with me and he gave a much more emotional answer, so he got it right. And I was like, okay, we got the heart here with us.
A combo.
Yeah. Well, that's what Kusan is great. Me and him are great because he's like, a good yin to my yang,
he's like
I would
silent
say.
but deadly. Like, he comes in with the punch, but he's kind of like chill.
And I talk way too much, and I'm not deadly at all.
Exactly. Good combo.
Right. It's a good combo. But yeah, so that's something that, again, these questions that you could think about that, that you can even rehearse.
Yeah.
They say, so that way you can get these answers in 2 to 3 minutes, make them punchy, make them impactful.
Yeah.
So that way, if they do come out, it's a good piece of press for you.
That's a good point. A good piece of press. You're right, because a lot of the times I've noticed they have really professional photographers too and videographers, and I've been able to snag some of those photos, which is great. But you're right. And I realized too, in my experience, because they ask those questions a lot, you do sort of get a rote answer down.
Yeah, right.
But it's like, it feels good because you synthesize it. Like,
Right.
you kind of know what you're saying. You know how to get to the heart of it. Plus, I always find that part fun. I know some people don't like to go up there and talk on stage and answer questions, but maybe it's the actor in us. But
For sure.
I'm
I was
like,
let
me
get
tell
me
you.
on stage now.
Yeah, I'm ready. What do you want to know?
So one of the last two questions is, what are you working on now? Like you were talking about, and that's one of the questions you most likely will get at a film festival.
All the time. On the stage, when you're out and about talking to filmmakers, I feel like it's like when you meet somebody on the streets and you're not in the filmmaking world, it's like, what do you do for a living? But at the festival, it's, what are you working on now?
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for your film?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two questions are huge. And again, it's nice to have something, at least a little something rehearsed or in your back pocket to pull out for that. Yeah. So that you know what you're talking about. You seem like you know who you are, or, that you are confident in your abilities and you're confident that you will make a name for yourself at some point. Because then that will either help people want to work with you, it'll help people want to just go see your film and be fans. Yeah. It will help potentially even get agents or producers or distributors,
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I learned too, you might have noticed, like your calling card really is, for the most part, Instagram. I feel like instead of business cards now, I was exchanging a lot of like Instagrams, and I wish that I had an Instagram for my production company. Because my personal Instagram does have some stuff that has to do with, filmmaking, but I was ending up following a lot of people who had their production Instagrams. And now it's nice because I can like immediately connect them to the filmmaking they're doing and be like, I remember that guy, he does sound or whatever,
Right.
So that when you are talking about what are you working on now, that person can be like, that's great. I do this. Like, and you start to, keep people in your back pocket.
And so you have a production company?
Well, okay, so that's the thing. Actually, me and my sisters want to start one together.
Okay.
And we were brainstorming names, and we actually came up with one today that I think we might go with, but I'm not going to say it yet because we're not sure.
Don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I wanna like lock it into an umbrella. Yeah. And I don't think it'll be for the sake of like we just want to make stuff. I don't want to produce any random commercial or whatever for a living. It's more just like an umbrella to put these films and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's also a better way to get like investors involved, right? Yeah. Like if you're just asking for money under your individual name or you and another individual, it's going to be much harder to get somebody to invest as opposed to, hey, we have this production company. If you write the check out to this production company, then we can make this film.
Exactly. And then you don't have to make one-off Instagrams for every movie that you make.
That's the other thing,
then
right?
You can build an audience. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that as well, but it seems messy and it seems like business oriented and like it's a whole other thing you got to learn. And I know I should probably
Yeah.
do it, you know. I'll just make it through your production company. How about that?
Yeah, we can like, tag team here and there. I'll just tag you. We can collaborate on our posts.
Right.
My production company plus this guy who sometimes
Pops in, pops out, yells at people, makes a little
Yeah.
joke, and then gets away with it.
Yeah, the entertainment, all of the above.
Right. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what the podcast page is kind of good for, because I can
Yeah.
upload film stuff to that as well, and
Yeah.
give people that to be like, hey, this is how you keep up with me and what I'm doing.
Maybe you should name your production company after your podcast.
I
Just put it under the
did,
same-
but Articulate. What I want is Articulate Productions, and that's already taken. And I could do Articulate Studios,
That's what I was gonna say.
but I'm not a studio. Can you just call it that?
I think you just
You
call
just call it that.
I didn't know it mattered. I was just like studio, cinema, production.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, man,
Okay.
maybe I will. I'm gonna do something like that.
Yeah, I feel
Be
like you
cool.
should. Because
Right.
you have so many creative endeavors. Just like.
Too many.
put them in the
Don't
same-
remind me.
Yeah.
They're not. None of them are good.
Bad.
Bad.
Don't say that.
Okay. Yeah. True. This is why I also like hanging out with you because you're a very positive person. I think it's easy, especially within comedy, to like be very self-deprecating.
Oh, you're right.
And it's funny because you're just like a ray of sunshine. You're like, hey, oh my god, you do comedy. Kind of fun. Yeah.
Well, it's true. Not to keep talking about this damn book. I'll keep it short.
Bring it back.
But they talked about positivity as being one of the most important things because people with positive outlooks tend to see obstacles as not something that's an overarching like problem to identify with that is like a reality of their world, but rather just a reality of this moment. But people who are pessimists tend to see it as something that's all encompassing.
Yeah.
So, I started realizing, I guess I do kind of, of course I'm a normal human, so sometimes things suck, but like,
Right.
yeah, I
But for
think
the
it is
most part,
framing it
Yeah.
a certain way.
Framing it a better way. And
Yeah.
I think externally I try to be more positive, even with turmoil and despair. But it's fine. We don't.
Those are some good words, though.
I know. Articulate.
Yeah, you're right. Articulate with Steve.
Yeah,
true.
I read sometimes.
Sometimes you pick up a book.
I should read Grit. This is True
You
Grit.
should.
What's this called?
True, great.
Let's shout out the book. Well, this is where we end on this.
I know. The lady who wrote the book is from Philly, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called.
It's called Grit.
Grit.
Just Grit. I listened to
By-
it on a 6-hour drive.
Oh,
I don't
nice.
know. She's
Right.
a lady who works in Philly somewhere. She's like a professor.
Okay. But I think like, again, film festivals are, as a whole, very useful tool and exciting, fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. I think you should remember to have fun with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was a great
they're
time.
so fun.
And you get to show your movie to people, you know?
Yeah.
This is what we make movies for, is like because they're fun. Obviously, we try to rationalize it with saying we're trying to put out a good message or whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they're just fun, you know?
Yeah, it's fun to see people who make movies. It's fun to see when they laugh. Sometimes it's random,
Very strange
Yeah.
reactions.
Oh, you had that experience?
Yeah, at our premiere, there were like parts that I thought would be way funnier. And then what ended up being the funniest scene was the elevator scene. And I was like, how is that the
Oh.
funniest? All right, whatever, sure.
so
I'll
funny.
take it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right? That's what the audience is for, right? It's
Mhm.
like, oh.
But look out for yourself, get a strategy, get a
Yeah.
reason for doing these things. And and do research on what you submit to. Don't waste your money. Have a budget,
Yeah. Yep.
I would say.
Yeah.
Kaitlyn, thanks for coming on to talk about all this stuff. Very
Yeah.
informational episode and fun to talk. I love just talking about film.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Talk forever. Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, no worries. You want to follow? I guess you don't have a production company yet to follow.
Not yet. But you can follow my normal Instagram at its_a_ my last name, Diehl, Diehl. And hopefully when I have a production company, I'll put a link there.
Yeah.
And you can follow that.
It's a deal. And
Yeah.
she's got a film that she produced coming out, Tino, soon.
Yep.
And the scary one, maybe.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out.
Yeah. Lots of stuff
Yeah.
happening. Constantly making movies, working on a feature. I'm going to direct that. It'll be interesting. So,
You are?
mhm.
The feature?
Yeah.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
All right. Well, thanks, Kaitlyn. I'll give you
Yep,
the fist
thanks,
bump.
Steve.
Let's wrap it up.